Good. How's it going, John?
It is going well. It is going well. Weather has been lovely in Oregon these last couple days. It has
Yeah,
been very nice.
the weather has been so nice. It's warmed up enough to the point where our, what is it, yard waste bin
Oh, okay.
started to smell. And we realized that we had never taken it out to get it emptied after we put the pumpkins in from Halloween. So
Oh,
we're
that's
like,
pleasant.
what is that smell? Because it's been so cold, even in the garage where the garbage cans are,
Uh-huh.
that it's kept things under wrap. But it had warmed up enough where, not to
Time,
get too
time,
gruesome, things had liquefied
time,
and smells had started to permeate.
time to take out the trash.
Yes,
Uh,
literally.
that's
So yes.
that reminds me of growing up. I grew up in Alaska, and the garage was always cold enough that it was basically a very large refrigerator,
Right.
bordering on freezer. so in things like Thanksgiving meals or big Christmas meals and things like that, when there was a big the leftover ham or the leftover turkey, we just put foil on it and put it out on top of the washer and dryer, or on top of the we had a
Mm-hmm.
chest freezer out there, and you could always just kind of walk out to the garage and grab a piece of ham off. And it was very, it kept it as cold or colder than any refrigerator. Anyway, it's kind of a very probably not what most people's normal would have been, let's say.
I got this visual of young John saying, I want some ham. I'm going to walk out to the garage, pull something off the hood of the car. There you go.
I have in fact, while I have had many friends who are vegetarians, including my wife for a long time, many, many years, I have never myself been tempted.
I am going to get you to come have an Impossible Whopper with me, though. I got to figure out how to give you a blind taste test so that you don't know what you're biting into, and to take away that the placebo effect or the mental
Right.
block that you'll see, to just enjoy it for a burger.
Well, I'm willing. I do think it might be hard to give it a real honest try. But I mean, I love garden burgers. I mean, I've eaten my share of garden burgers, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I have. There's this one friend we know that we won't name him here, but like, who really just doesn't eat vegetables. I'm not that person. I consider myself an omnivore. But and I don't mind a veggie burger, a black bean burger, or a classic garden burger. They're tasty.
These taste nothing like a veggie burger or a black bean burger.
I'm just saying it wouldn't be a mental thing, that it doesn't have to.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, yes, I will say, I actually I went out to lunch today. Restaurants are open in Oregon. For I think 25% capacity, something like that. And so I actually went out to lunch today to Red Robin with my wife and son, and they had on the big corner of their menu, the Impossible Burger. And I actually thought of you, and because you've said a couple times, hey, you should really try it. And I was like, am I going to try it? No, I'm not. I'm not. Just because it was such a rare thing. It's one of those things that, if you're like, oh, let me try something different tonight. Okay, there we're going. But when it's like, my gosh, I would very much like to have some of the taste that I love.
We did something similar for over the weekend. We have our favorite little Thai food place, which we have been getting takeout from for, a year since this all started. And as you mentioned, our county moved into the moderate level, so restaurants were able to open at very limited seating capacity. So we were like, well, let's go to our let's just call and see if we can sit there and see what their situation is, because they're in a strip mall type, very small place.
Right.
So I called them, and if they said, well, we're full or we're not doing it, we would just order takeout. And they said, well, we have 3 tables. So in the whole space, they basically have one corner has the counter and the cash register in the kitchen. One corner has a table. The other corner has a table, and then the whole middle is just. And so they said, well, we're not doing reservations, but there is a table open right now. And so we all piled in the car and said, well, we'll go. And if we can't, if it's full when we get there, we'll just order takeout. And then we got to run some errands anyways, close by where it's in.
No big deal.
It's in Sherwood. So we'd run some errands and then go pick it up. We got there. Table was still empty. So we said, let's try to feel some kind of sort of normal-ish kind of evening for dinner. And it was fabulous.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's coming. It's coming. There was an announcement this week that they expect to have enough vaccines for all adults in the United States by the end of May. I don't think that means that they, shots are in the arms by the end of May, but that the vaccines are available. So right. That's nice. But Oregon is doing good. And I've started to know more and more people that have gotten the shots, which is awesome, including some family members and people that I work with, and I'm very happy for them. I'm still feeling like it's weeks to months away for us, but or my family. Yeah, but that's okay. We'll keep being good, keep wearing our mask, keep mostly not going out, and let's keep our fingers crossed that the numbers keep going down.
Yeah. Yep.
So anything else fun this weekend?
I had a couple of things we did. So a friend of ours is having some work done in his expanse of property. And he pinged around asking if anybody had a drone. And I'm like, I have a drone that has been sitting in a box and it's a decent drone. That's been sitting in a box for probably 2 years and hasn't even been opened.
Yeah.
So this weekend I pulled it out, dusted it off, got it all rewired, found out that it wouldn't fly because it needed a firmware update to meet some new federal flight path requirements. And so got it all figured out. This was one of those things where I'm glad I have both an iPhone and an Android phone, because the app just was not working on one. I loaded the app on the other. It wasn't working on the other. I had to go do some Googling around to figure it out. I had to actually sideload an app from the manufacturer.
On Android,
for the Android phone, because the drone is so far out of production that they don't support the app that is on the store, doesn't support it anymore. You would have had to have downloaded that app a long time ago and kept it. Fortunately, wow. I had the one that I had previously used on the iPhone, but I couldn't get it to update the firmware. The Android app, at least not the one from the store, but the one I sideloaded, was finally able to get. Anyways, it was kind of a mess. And then I went outside and, flew the drone, made sure it went up and down. I'm like, why haven't I done in one of our beautiful Oregon days this last weekend? I started thinking, man, I should fly the drone more. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
So that was one fun thing I did this weekend. Then the other one is my boy now has his permit. I think I mentioned it before. He's now official.
Yep.
But he's going to be a cautious driver, and he has decided that he would prefer that mom teach him how to drive, which is fine.
After having A/B tested, mom and dad?
Yes, pretty much. I think that's probably how it went. So for our first kid, I taught her how to drive. Okay. And mom tried to take her out and got so freaked out. Mom said, I can't teach her how to drive. You need to do it. And I said, okay, that's fine. Because we were going to try to team teach, so. And then the second daughter comes along, and I try to teach her how to drive. And I was like, I can't do this. And mom taught her how to drive. And that worked. She got along better with mom. And so we were wondering which one the boy was going to go with. Mom or dad, because we're 50-50 so far on the first two.
Sure.
And he so far has decided on mom. So
all right then.
We'll see how that lasts. Mostly I think he's a little intimidated by the truck. I said, well, I don't have to teach you in the truck. We could take the small car.
Oh, I see.
But dad drives the truck and he's a little worried about the truck.
I see.
Although he has told me that
Mm-hmm.
he wants to drive it at some point, just not to learn on. Like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our weekend. Mom teaching Junior how to drive. So far, so good.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I have my older has his permit at the moment. And he is also with mom is teaching him, or has been the one that has driven with him so far. I actually was out with him a couple weekends ago, just he and I doing an errand, and I was like, "Hey, you want to drive home?" And he was like, "I have not had my coffee yet. I don't think so." Well, I was like, all right, it's an excuse, but okay. I don't want to pressure you, but anyway, we're working on it. So what did I do this weekend? So on Saturday, we had a friend who kind of put out a call for help for building some raised garden beds, and so we went over there. A whole bunch of people, everybody masked, but. And outside working on basically, the husband had put together, a bunch, maybe 10 or 15. I'm trying to do a count in my head. 9, maybe 12, garden beds, like, 10 or 12 foot long. Some of them were 10 foot long. Some of them were 12 foot long, kind of raised beds. And, they had gotten a couple of loads of compost, not enough. But, so there were a whole bunch of people putting down wire underneath so the gophers couldn't come up underneath the beds, and then, getting all the beds lined up and laid out. And, so it was good. It was good to be out and about a little bit and kind of helping them. And they're going to raise cut flowers. So, it'll be cool. I expect to go over there in another 6 months or a year, and it'll probably be super beautiful.
So what counts as a cut flower? I mean, I assume it's flowers that are cut for vases.
Yeah,
or is there...
yeah, exactly. No, that's all.
Okay.
That's not. It's not a type of flower. It is a way of monetizing flowers. I mean, I don't exactly know what her plan is or their plan is for like marketing and stuff. That I'm just dumb labor. I took over a couple wheelbarrows, a couple shovels, and a teenage boy, and
there you go.
I can just be muscles for a little bit, and
all right,
that's cool. And then on Sunday we actually drove out to the coast, ordered a pizza, made a fire, ate s'mores. And really, it was just drive 2 hours, sit there for 3 hours, 4 hours, kind of just to get a change of scenery and be outside and come back. And that was a great day. It was not as nice out at the coast as I hoped that it would be. It was very kind of the marine windy layer. No, it was just a marine layer. So it was not a blue sky. It was blue skies inside. We were inside the valley. We were really hoping for blue skies out on the coast, but it was still just a great day and a good day to be out and about. And
right,
it's not like we were going to see people or anything like that. We interacted with fewer people there than we would have if we had gone to the store or something. But just a change of venue from my basement office was very pleasant.
Yeah.
So it's all good. And then
I need one of those myself.
You're like, yeah, if these walls, it's not if these walls could talk, they are talking to me.
That's right.
And they are saying, you are spending a lot of time here. No, it's all good. The other thing I have been messing around with a lot lately is my 3D printer, which I've got some good stuff out of. And then I just, for the second time, it laminated to the film and I tore it trying to get the lamination off. So I've been kind of frustrated in doing these big prints. I've been trying to do these particularly big prints, and they have not worked. And now I've got to replace the film again. Although I'm trying a different brand off of Amazon, so it's got good reviews. We'll see. I haven't used that one yet. It's sitting here waiting for me to have another 20 minutes, half hour to do. Because it's got, I don't know if you've ever looked at the bottom of those things, but there's a screw every maybe half inch all the way around. There's a lot. Mm-hmm. There's 25 screws around the outside of it,
right?
And it's not hard. It's just tedious. It just takes time. I should actually probably enlist one of my kids. Be like, this is good practice. You should learn how to do this.
That's right.
It's all good. I'll get it done.
Awesome.
I'll get it done. All right. We should get into the topics and such. Let's see. I put a couple things in follow-up. I put 3 things in follow-up. Wow. Okay. So first thing, have you clicked on this link yet? If not, click on it.
I did. I went and looked at that one already.
Okay. So this first follow-up item is just a what's that? I'll actually say the thing. io.netgarage.org/logo. But basically, this is a enumeration of, well, actually it says, this page somewhat cynically celebrates the relatively new trend of giving bugs more memorable names and logos. So this is a page of all the different logos that he could find, presumably, of vulnerabilities. So, and there's a bunch. There's a ton.
Can I say the best looking logo on there? These are not logos by, well, who knows? Maybe they are professional designers doing these, but they do not look like... I'll just cut that all out. The best logo on the page is the ASCII Art IO logo, in my opinion. At the very, very top.
At the very top.
The one that's not.
The one that's not a logo.
Not a logo. That's the best looking one.
I have a fondness for the. I don't remember what the name of that vulnerability was. The one that's like a dragonfly. It's got like a Wi-Fi symbol coming out of a dragonfly.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What is that one?
Dragon Blood.
Dragon Blood. Okay, that's probably that's
various weaknesses in the uncommon WPA3 standard.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm looking at the names down there. I don't remember this one. Which one was Ghost Butt? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that is.
Yeah. It's right next to Ant Bleed.
I see that. I see it now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, this is worth some humor. Oh yeah. There's logos of various design aesthetics and quality.
Design aesthetic.
Boot Hole's pretty good. That was a recent one. Plundervolt. We talked about those. We talked about Zombie Load.
Yeah.
We've talked about a number of these. Not all of them.
Sad DNS. It's always DNS.
It's always DNS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, anyway. So that was the first thing. Follow up on that. So there's all sorts of vulnerability logos. It's awesome. And then the second one is they are cleaning up the satellite at Arecibo.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw an article fly by this week that has a satellite image of the observatory kind of partially deconstructed. And so we'll throw the link in here. So it says, what does it say? It says satellite images show what's left of the iconic observatory. The sad work of dismantling the remains of the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico is underway. Fresh satellite images show work crews removing part of the structure and clearing the land for safety reasons, and etc. So it's mostly just we talked about that on the podcast a few months ago.
Yep.
So there you go. That's going there. And then my third thing, I saw another article about the Perseverance. And this is, I thought we should call this out because I did not know about, this is meet NASA's flight director of Mars Perseverance, who came to the U.S. with $300 and cleaned bathrooms. That's the title of the article. Mm-hmm. So her name is Diana Trujillo.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that okay?
Yep. Trujillo.
And this is a great story. So I had not heard of this, read the article, thought this was really awesome. So, she was born and raised in Colombia and came to the United States when she turned 17. Did not speak any English. Flew to Miami. It says with, quote, flew to Miami with just $300 in her pocket. And put herself through community college by housekeeping, transferred to the University of Florida, majored in aerospace engineering, and became was the first immigrant Hispanic woman to join the NASA Academy, I think for an internship, it said, but during her senior year of college, and was hired in 2009. And she worked on the Curiosity, which landed in 2012. And now she is the, flight director for Mars Perseverance. So there you go. That's a great story.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Very cool. So we'll call mine a bridge between follow-up and topics. So
follow topic.
This one is the title is First Fully Weaponized Spectre Exploit Discovered Online. So Spectre Meltdown,
yep.
The hardware flaws were theoretical, and now they are no longer, not
3 years later.
3 years later, now they found them out in the wild. So if you haven't been paying attention to what you're doing, and they found them by an upload to VirusTotal with the working exploit capable of actually doing actual damage to something.
Wow.
And one for Windows, one for Linux. The researcher found that the Linux exploit was dumping the contents of Etsy Shadow, the Linux files that stores details on user accounts. So clearly some malicious type behavior, but there, at least so far, no evidence this exploit is being used in the wild. And probably the researcher hints at, and then other people in the article say this is basically a penetration tester, a company that does penetration testing. So it's probably one of their tools that has done that. You can read the article for more details. But the other note here is this is from a new place that I've never seen. Well, I knew about it before, but an article is from The Record, from Recorded Media, which is where our buddy who doesn't know he's our buddy,
Catalan,
has now moved from ZDNet over to here. And this is his, I don't know if it's his first article or one of his first articles for that.
It was the first one I saw, and it seemed like it very much followed and by the way, I moved to Recorded Future. But yeah, I did see that.
So there you go. A little bit of Spectre Meltdown 3 years later follow-up Wait, was the Spectre Meltdown on that other page, your Net Garage? I'm sure it was.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I didn't actually look, but...
Anyways, so that's a follow-up, and we can transition that one into my topic, which is probably less entertaining, less interesting. But this one caught my eye this week.
I didn't read this one.
So this one, it's a short read, and more of it was just an interesting phenomena. It's in the UK outside a specific Tesco, which I think it's kind of like a Walmart or a Target. Kind of has groceries, and then half is it. Anyways, I don't know what Tesco is, other than I Googled it really quick, so I at least kind of knew what it was. But outside a Tesco in the UK somewhere, there have been hundreds of reports of people in the parking lot unable to open their car doors with their key fobs or do their cars with their key fobs. And the police have said they don't know what the cause is, but it was not being treated as something with malicious intent, and they don't know why. But one of the quotes in the article is one woman said, "My fob wouldn't work. Some lady couldn't stop her alarm from going off, and there were at least 3 other car alarms going off. I thought it was some kind of alien phenomena." And the article implies that people were unable to get in. They were locked out of their cars. Which
I think there's a lot of cars these days that don't actually have keys, right?
That's what I wondered. Have we actually gone that far that there is literally, I mean, I know the fancy pants new cars like the Tesla don't, but, and maybe I know this is not even going to be a question for you.
This is not, I'm like you, I am the wrong target audience for this question.
I know for my 3 vehicles that we have, well, I guess technically 4, I now apparently own a fleet in my family. They all have key fobs, but they all also have either a key attached to the key fob, or there is a key that's kind of clicked into a secret compartment as part of the key fob. So there is still
an emergency
physical access if the key fob stops working. Because what if the battery dies to your key fob while you're in the Tesco there? So, anyways, this one is, my money is on someone close by is doing some jamming, radio frequency jamming just for giggles, and we'll find a YouTube video on it at some point.
Yeah.
So,
or something along those lines.
So security of your items is not just attached to the internet or attached to the computer, as software and chips and radio free, everything is,
it's all software.
Convenient, but it's, software is eating the world.
And all software. Software. Software has issues. All of it. Just FYI.
Yeah.
This does not make me want to get a new car. Just saying. Just saying. I noticed when I was driving, because we drove I'm sure I've said it on the podcast before, but the reason why Eric and I are joking about this is because my car is a 96 Ford Explorer. And I noticed as we were driving out to the coast on Sunday, I'm getting really close to 180,000 miles on it. So, but I haven't put any miles on this year, right? I mean, I've kind of been, wait, is it 180 or 280?
I'm assuming it's closer to 280.
I don't remember. I mean,
I've almost got 100,000 on mine, and it's a 2016.
Yeah, might be. Whatever it was, I was, I've been kind of thinking for a while, I've only got like 30,000 miles left before I should really, and so I think it's 300. I think I'm 20K from 300, and thinking, this thing's like officially 25 years old this year. And it's not it's not a classic car. Anyway.
No one is going to buy it off you and restore it.
Oh yeah. This is, but I kind of also am, my other sort of, underhanded motivation is that it's a good car for my kids to learn to drive on. Cause if it wrecks, it's relatively safe and, and I don't care about the car, so long as the kid walks away.
Right.
But anyway, well, we'll see. All right. What's my topic? Oh, okay. Yeah, I had to do this topic. Active exploitation of Microsoft Exchange 0-day vulnerabilities. So this was the big news of yesterday, I think. What's the date today?
Yeah.
Today is so yesterday. And I saw a bunch more activity today. In fact, today I think is when the patches rolled out. First, start with almost nobody these days should be running an Exchange server. There's no reason for companies to be running their own Exchange server. Office 365. Most companies should not be worrying about deploying patches and things like that. But one of the things about Exchange is that it has a tool called Outlook Web Access, right? And Outlook Web Access can't actually be enabled unless it's available to the web. So that means that many servers, not all, but many Exchange servers are available externally. And the quote, I'm going to read this first paragraph from the article here. It says, in January 2021, through its network security monitoring service, Volexity detected anomalous activity from two of its customers' Microsoft Exchange servers. Volexity identified a large amount of data being sent to IP addresses it believed were not tied to legitimate users. A closer inspection of the IIS logs from the Exchange servers revealed alarming results. The logs showed inbound post requests to valid files associated with images, JavaScript, CSS sheets, and fonts used by Outlook Web Access. It was initially suspected the servers might be backdoored and that web shells were being executed through a malicious HTTP module or ISAPI filter. As a result, Volexity started its incident response effort and acquired system memory and other disk artifacts to initiate a forensics investigation. The investigation revealed the servers were not backdoored and uncovered a 0-day exploit being used in the wild.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So, nice. Who it doesn't say who these customers were, but there's been a lot of chatter on the web and on Twitter here. But so it looks like the first one of these was a server-side request forgery vulnerability, and they were using that to steal the full contents of several user mailboxes. But then following that discovery, this is now, they said in January, so presumably over the course of days or potentially a couple of weeks, they said that it says Volexity identified the attacker managed to chain the SSRF vulnerability with another to allow remote code execution on the targeted Exchange servers. So now they're not just sucking out the mail. They were able to get onto the disk and dump user credentials, add user accounts, steal copies of the Active Directory database, and use that as a landing spot to move laterally. So this is highly, 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 highly dangerous. There's obviously the recommendations. Well, so today a patch came out from Microsoft, and so today you can patch. But regardless, the actions here were to suggested to remove external access to Microsoft Exchange until a patch was available, and obviously monitor and look for potential indicators that you might have been breached. And the article is nice in that it goes through a ton of log and other indicators. So IP addresses, URLs, user agent strings, that kind of stuff of things and IP addresses. So anyway, that was that's a big thing. That's a big thing at the moment. Huge thing. And I'm sure there are many, many, many security teams around the world, right as we record this on Wednesday night, at least, that are actively working to patch or bring their environments back up as we speak. Microsoft did release my kind of immediate follow up to this, and this also came out yesterday, so I guess the patches were available yesterday too. So the reason I wanted to follow up with the Microsoft note as well is because Microsoft actually did attribution of this. So the quote here is, Microsoft has detected multiple zero-day exploits being used to attack on-premise versions of Microsoft Exchange Server in limited and targeted attacks. In the attacks observed, the threat actor used these vulnerabilities to access on-premise Exchange servers, which enabled access to email accounts and allowed installation of additional malware to facilitate long-term access to victim environments. Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center attributes this campaign with high confidence to Hafnium, a group assessed to be state-sponsored and operating out of China based on observed victimology, tactics, and procedures. So, that's interesting. And then a little bit farther down, it says Hafnium. Who is Hafnium? Hafnium primarily targets entities in the United States across a number of industry sectors, including infectious disease researchers, law firms, higher education institutions, defense contractors, policy think tanks, and NGOs. So there you go. If you are in any way associated with Exchange, you're probably already well aware of this. And if not, you're...
if you're not as affiliated with the Exchange as you think you are.
It could be true. Very true. So anyway, that was the big thing this week.
Cool.
My assessment. How about something fun?
I have two something funs. One was a last minute addition because you did watch the new Starship, the SpaceX Starship serial number 10 launch today.
I watched the SpaceX version, which ended pretty much as soon as it shut down, as soon as it touched down.
So this is the Starship, or the flying grain silo, goes up to 10 kilometers. That's about 6 miles, tilts on its side and kind of gracefully falls back to Earth. And then at the end, it flips back upright and tries to land like the Falcon rocket, on the platform.
Right.
So I've watched previous ones that have gone up and they have not landed.
They have not come down gracefully.
They have not come down gracefully. This one landed not entirely gracefully.
But it landed.
A little bit of a little leaning tower going on, but it looked like it might do it. And I was watching a different feed.
Maybe a little bit, some like it hot.
Yeah. It was on fire
it was.
in some spots, but they had fire suppression going on, and they had put out the fire. And this other feed that I was watching, so the SpaceX feed stopped, but this other feed with a bunch of enthusiasts that were outside the area with high-powered cameras were continuing to film because they're like, it's on its side and it's venting something. And then about, I want to say,
oh wait, it was on its side.
Sorry.
I didn't realize it had
was
collapsed.
Upright. No. Sorry.
Oh,
I misspoke.
Oh, okay.
It was still upright.
Okay.
But it was leaning still, and so it was venting stuff out its side. And so they said, we're going to stay on this because that doesn't look quite right to us. And after about 5 minutes, boom. And then it was on its side. Or what was left of the grain silo was now flattened on its side. So...
so I was actually on I was on another meeting. I was on a work meeting when this happened. So I actually did have it up on my monitor with just the sound off, just so I could see it. So I didn't hear any audio of what was going on, but I was glancing over at it, kind of looking at it, and I was like, oh, they stuck the landing, and then the thing ended, and I was like, that looked a little suspicious, but then
yeah, I think that was like 5 minutes later. I IM'd you and said, well, and boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something. All right. So that's my first something fun. Space is fun. And then my next one is I read the book. It's another Malcolm Gladwell book. This one is called Talking to Strangers. And I would highly recommend it. It's the concept behind this book is he goes in like it's all like all his other books. If you've read any Malcolm Gladwell, it's very similar. He reviews academic studies on our ability to tell when people are telling the truth, or why do people get deceived by other people. He talks about who's the Ponzi scheme guy that fooled Wall Street forever and then went to jail?
Bernie Madoff.
Thank you. It slipped my mind. Yeah. So he talks about that. How did he deceive so many people? And why did other people, because there were a few people calling out saying his math does not add up. There's no way he's getting the returns he has. It's just mathematically impossible. But people who would go and meet him would be, well, he seems to be a nice guy. And it talks about some of the European leaders who went and met with Hitler, and they said, well, he seems to be a nice guy. He really doesn't want to cause war everywhere. How were they deceived? And it's, then it goes into a bunch of academic studies on, for example, how can you tell if someone is telling the truth or not? And they have a bunch of studies that talk about, they would call in, because judges, they look somebody in the eye and they decide whether or not they should be let out on bail or not. And all the academic research apparently points to our ability to tell when somebody is lying is a 50-50 coin flip.
Oof.
No matter who you are, if you're a trained police officer, if you're whatever, it's no better than 50-50 with all these studies that have gone on. And part of it is the idea that we default to truth. Our default is the people we're interacting with are telling us the truth. And so it's a great book. It's a really quick read. But it discussed some uncomfortable topics, uncomfortable topics about race and the football coach from Penn State. So it made me reflect on some of my opinions of what was going on at the time that was in the news in a different light, and sometimes uncomfortably towards the other side that I was, that person was wrong, that person was right. When he lays it out in the thing, it's like, okay, that person was still wrong, but now I understand it's not because they were a horrible person, which was kind of maybe my initial thought. And it was more, here's how you get to that point in the situation. So anyways, a great book, Talking to Strangers. I would recommend that one.
It's been a while since I've read a Malcolm Gladwell book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
all right. I have not clicked on on yours. You said don't click on them, so I have.
Yeah.
Not.
Okay. So go ahead and click on the first one, the Twitter link.
All right, the first
that
one.
we will put in the show notes here so people can look at. So this is day. Did you see it?
Day 357.
Day 357 of the pandemic. I made a cat detector, and it's literally a handheld camera that you hold it at something, and you see what's on the image, and then it runs it through a neural network and says, yes cat, no cat. So if you
like
look
a heat
at
gun. Those
it's like a heat. Yeah, exactly. What do you call it? A FLIR or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there you go. So cat.
Yes, cat.
So and I he was replying to a tweet from like 3 or 4 months ago. It says October 17th of somebody like ironically holding, kind of like a meme thing where somebody was like holding a little like a thermal gun in front of a cat, and it says it has a in candy text on the right hand side of it, cat detector, and then on the back it says yes, and then the person's like, I made it, here you go. So anyway, I didn't see an article about this. There was one follow-up tweet. If you scroll down a little bit in the thread, he says inside is a Pi Zero running TensorFlow with the Coco SSD model. So I totally, I thought this was right up your alley, a little hardware project. It's awesome. A little bit of neural network, a little bit of,
that is awesome.
So there you go. And then there was also some jokes in here that, cause he didn't actually use it on, real cat. He used it on a very lifelike looking stuffed cat. So, person's like, has this been tested on an actual cat yet? It's impressive, but all we've seen is a false positive.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay.
I'll have to admit that the first thing I stared at, and I still can't take my eyes off of, is the guy's avatar picture.
Which is like a
ferret eating spaghetti, or a gopher eating spaghetti. What? It's something.
I think it's an otter. It looks like an otter to me.
Okay.
You otter eat spaghetti. I don't know. Okay. Well, that was my first one, and because I just thought that was cool, and I thought that you would enjoy that. All right. And so then my second one is more of a science something fun, but this is also kind of cool, I thought.
I didn't see this.
Super cool.
But I like the picture.
Right? So I don't know that that's a real... I mean, that looks like one of those artist rendering, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm sure, yeah.
This is space hurricane observed for the first time. So this was it was actually from 2014. So let me read just a little bit. The first observations of a space hurricane have been revealed in Earth's upper atmosphere, confirming their existence and shedding new light on the relationship between planets and space. So this was the readings were collected in August of 2014. So it's 6 years old, but they were. It says they were only uncovered during retrospective analysis by scientists at the University of Reading. And it was this analysis has now caused a 3D image to be created of the 1,000-kilometer wide swirling mass of plasma, several hundred kilometers above the North Pole, raining electrons instead of water, and in many ways resembling the hurricanes we are familiar with in Earth's lower atmosphere. So this is totally cool. Let's see. It said plasma and magnetic fields in the atmosphere of planets exist throughout the universe, so the findings suggest space hurricanes should be a widespread phenomenon. And until now, it was uncertain that space plasma hurricanes even existed. Space plasma hurricanes. That's awesome. So to prove this with such striking observation is incredible, etc. So let's see. The space hurricane analyzed by the team in Earth's ionosphere was spinning in an anti-clockwise direction, had multiple spiral arms, and lasted almost 8 hours before gradually breaking down. So there you go. Space hurricanes. Space plasma hurricanes.
I wonder if
there
it could cause a Adams transitional geomagnetic event.
Haha, right? Or is it a cause, coincidence, or a consequence? I don't know. But there you go. Space hurricanes.
There.
That's something fun.
Even though that I'm sure that's an artist rendering, I like the picture is eye-catching.
Yeah. You get to edit this week, so you should put that as the chapter art.
I have been lazy about doing the pictures. I will not be lazy this week. And I might have to put the otter eating spaghetti thing too, just because I like that picture.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right, Eric.
Well, that was fun.
Yep. Have a good week. Week. And everybody be safe.
Keep being safe. It's working.
Yep. Just like we're on the home stretch. Just a couple more months.
All right. Have a good night, John.
I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
All right. Bye.